actions have cost me. I have spent months fortifying positions to continue the fight against the humans. Now I have to abandon them because of you.
We will fix this, Atriox. We only thought it wise to inform you of the threat.
You thought it wise. The Flood is the very thing this installation was created to destroy. You have no idea what you've unleashed. If we don't send every soldier we have right now to stop its spread, everything we've worked for will be consumed.
We've already reactivated the Sentinels. We will help them fix this. You have our word.
I want actions, not words. I'm on my way. What is the situation?
I've lost over 40% of our troops, Atriox. The Flood has spread quickly in the area near High Charity. Do not fear, Atriox. With the Sentinel defenses up and running, we will crush the Flood threat.
It was that very arrogance that caused this mess, Vargas. I'm on my way now. You will have this fixed by the time I arrive.
Fight back! Do not let them destroy our base! Their numbers are infinite.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 5th and final mission of Halo Wars 2 Awaken the Nightmare Legendary Walkthrough Guide. We're immediately going to get started by getting an Apex where that raid camp used to be, and then immediately put up a war council as well as 3 extractors, and then also going to get, sorry, not 3 extractors, 3 harvesters, as well as upgrade our current extractor and our 1 harvester. That way we can get some resources going as fast as possible. Speaking of resources, you're going to have your Brute Grenadiers that go gather on the left, and then you're going to have Bordis gather them on the right. Now your Brute Grenadiers, you're going to have them take out the 2 the resource caches at the south of your base. That way you can really get those engineers out as fast as possible. Speaking of, let's get one of them now. You're going to want to try to retreat away from these marauders here. The marauders, you're going to also want to use both Pavium and Voridis' special ability. I tried really hard to keep these hunters alive because it is really important to keep your hunters alive at least through this initial wave of enemies. But unfortunately, this hunter squad that I thought was going to be able to survive, just one was just a little bit off. But it's could be worse. Anyways, gonna continue trying to take out those resource caches. Gonna get some banshees and engineers as well. So the strategy for this mission is pretty simple. You're going to have your ground force, which is basically just going to be Pavium and Bordis, chill at your base pretty much the entire mission. And then you're going to have your air force, which is going to be really, really useful for the mobility they have throughout this entire mission. And they're going to handle getting all the mega turrets. They're going to handle getting pretty much everything that you need to successfully beat this mission, which is basically take out the gravemind, take out, protect the mega turrets when they're getting overwhelmed. You're going to be basically using them for all that, and pretty much the ratio that I do that at is 2 to 1 because the Flood flyer forms, they don't. It only takes like 2 of them at air level 3 to destroy one of these banshees or one of these engineers. So really, it's just a goal at trying to keep it's just a goal about keeping your air force alive throughout a large onslaught of Flood throughout the entire mission. Now, there's more than enough Flood throughout this entire mission. It should be pretty much a gimme combat bonus. And what I mean by that is that there's so many enemies that you're going to be fighting, and you're going to be losing very, very few of your forces. Like, this is probably the most you're going to lose throughout the entire mission. And that's because when you leave your base throughout this entire first section, you're going to be air level 3. You're also going to have your plasma torpedoes ready, so that way you counter any of the Flood air units that come at you. Now, this entire first section kind of is a drag. You are non-stop getting attacked by Flood. There's really no relenting until once this last wraith comes in. So you see this wraith that we just destroyed. Now we can push out of our base and start gathering anything and everything around it. So the number one thing that you're going to want to grab pretty much immediately is the Forerunner power tower, which is up to the north, as you see. So we're going to want that guaranteed, and then you're also going to get that mega turret as fast as you possibly can. It's really, really important and integral to your success to getting air level 3 in a timely manner, to make sure that you are pumping out getting power from your extractor from the mega turret slot, as well as that Forerunner power tower. If you don't, your time goes significantly down, and if you perfect this strategy, you could probably get this under par time, which is really, really good considering this mission can be a little RNG at times based off of like how the spawners treat your units, which we get a few of them right now. Now, if they decide to go a lot more air, it's going to be kind of an issue, but if they go ground, which is kind of the hope, you deal with a lot less. Like, notice how that spawned out an air unit. So it went anti-air, but then it went to anti-infantry. So we want these spawners, at least in our base area, to make sure that they spawn out infector forms rather than anti-air forms. So looking like we lost our last brute chopper, which to me not really the end of the world. Just simply trying to get all of our air force ready. Again, by the time you leave, you want to be at 80 population. So you want to be supply capped, and you also want to make sure you're air level 3 with plasma torpedo being researched, or vice versa. You want to be have plasma torpedo research, and you're currently upgrading to air level 3. But speaking of air level, we are air level 1. We're working on that right now, so make sure that you are trying to upgrade to that. The amount of damage increase, the efficiency of your units goes up exponentially with these, especially when you start throwing like 20 to 25 of these Banshees at the flood. They're not going to be able to handle them no matter how much they try to. Now we're going to definitely get our base defense up and running. Make sure that we have our 3 turrets plus 1 shield generator. That should be enough to handle the later on into the mission where we deal with they send a lot of flood at your base, like almost as much as they sent in the beginning part of this mission, where you deal with just non-stop waves of flood. But really, it's just going to be anti-vehicle forms and anti-air forms. And the air forms are really the biggest threat because they poke at your shield way too much. Now, I'm going to send Pavium to go get the Forerunner power tower. We also are going to send all these other units to go handle the flood area to the bottom right here. There's going to be 2 spawners down there. You're going to want to make sure you take both of them out, because if you don't take them out, you're just going to continuously get harassed by the flood, especially near that mega turret. And we want that. And the goal is to keep your mega turrets alive throughout the entire mission. That is actually a bonus objective we are going for. You'll get 1,000 points for that, and then not to mention you'll also get your multipliers based off of how well your combat score was and everything like that. So make sure that you do that, because getting all these objectives done is really important to get that gold medal. Now, as you see here, air level 2 is ready. I am saving up for the fortress upgrade. That way we can move up to tech level 3 and get air level 3 as well as plasma torpedo. But we're at this point. We're going to get that 2-slot mini base in a few moments. We're just making sure that these infection forms to the left here were taken out, which they are. Thank you, Sentinels. And now we're going to be using all of our forces to defend that mega turret. Every single time you build a mega turret, you're going to be dealing with a small wave of flood. They come from all directions. Make sure that you are protecting everything. Later on, when we're just using our air force to defend mega turrets, it's going to be really easy, because what you can do is you can park all your air force on top of the mega turret, on top of the base completely. The engineers will know what to do. They will just continuously heal the mega turret as well as anything else near it. And that's why we're rocking a lot of engineers, because if you don't, you run the risk of losing one of your mega turrets. And if you do that, you can't lose any mega turrets, as you see here on that bonus objective. Now later on, the only other bonus objective for this mission is using your Lich. You only need to kill 30 enemies with your Lich. Not that bad. Personally, I would just do that later on when the proto-gravemind has too much enemies around it. You can drop the Lich right on top of it, and it'll kill all the infection forms, which they do count to the total count of 30 squads. So, not too bad. Now, with everything pretty much all set, we're going to send all of our forces to get ready for the to basically get ready to move up. But we definitely need air level 3 and plasma torpedoes, so we still got a few things left to go about our base. We're going to send Voridus up to go gather the last bit of resources, and then we're going to make sure that we hotkey our air force. You can use a control group. As you see here, I'm working on getting that ready, putting them on my upper D-pad. So now all I have to do is hit RT and then up on the D-pad, and they automatically are hotkeyed to that position. So whenever I hit that, I automatically know who I'm selecting. Now the hunter squad, Pavium and Voridus, they're going to be chilling at our main base, making sure that it's protected. You do not want to have Voridus on the right side of where that war cancel is, because he is a melee hero, right? And that is where the air units from the flood are going to come in later. So what you're going to want to do is put Pavium there. When you have Pavium there, he will deal with the air units. He does splash damage, so he also is really efficient at taking out flood flyer forms. Now that we have a few moments to breathe, we can kind of just look at what's going on, survey what's coming up in a bit. This mission has a lot going to it, and there's really no slowing down. You want to make sure that you're being as efficient as humanly possible in this mission. Now, gonna check up on those resources over there, and I'm choosing Voridus because he definitely just moves faster than Pavium. Pavium, a thick boy, so got to make sure that he just chills and is lazy underneath the shield. But with our leader point, we're going to be using that in a few moments. Checking up on any more. As I said, you want to make sure that you have your entire Air Force ready to go by the time you. Essentially, when you go over to deal with the Gravemind for the first time, you want to have all your units, and you want to be either working on air level 3 or your plasma torpedo upgrade. You want to have one of those already done by the time you move up. Now, as you see here, 1-to-1 engineer to Banshee ratio. That's exactly what we want. Going to get our Rain of Fire, because Rain of Fire is going to be really, really important. I believe our Atriox's Bulwark is fully upgraded, which is going to be very, very helpful for when we start dealing with the mega turrets later on. We want to make sure that we toss down Atriox's Bulwark for the invincibility, so we can at least spend a little bit of time healing it. Now, we're going to go over here to get that spawner. We want to stop any spawners before we fight the Gravemind. This just allows us to have one fewer things that we're worrying about. As you see here, super easy to take it out. Now, we can head up to the Gravemind when we're ready. Gonna get, probably gonna get that advanced logistics. And now we got the big proto-gravemind. So if you did all that within the 12-minute marker, you should be pretty good at a chance for getting part-time. In this one, I was dealing with quite a bit of random stuff going on. But if you're really, really efficient with this, you should be able to get this in part-time. Saving up for reinforcements level 1. You want to make sure that you are at reinforcements level 2 and full in about 20 at the 20-minute marker. If you aren't, then you're going to be really, really slow, and it's going to take into that time that you need to if you're trying to get that part-time. Now, the hardest part about going air in this mission is that your Banshees and kind of like your entire attack force just does not want to listen to you. You're supposed to be attacking this, and still, like, I have to continuously hit my attack button micro these guys away. Make sure that you're using your plasma torpedo. Notice how it does splash to the flyer form. But like I was saying, like I have to continuously spam the attack button to be able to basically have them not to make sure that they're still focusing the gravemind. Otherwise, it's just annoying. Gonna definitely take out that spawner though. I don't want to deal with any more anti-air. Dude, I told you to fire on the see, like they don't even want to listen. They just want to fight the. They don't want to fight the spawner. They want to fight the infection forms. Now, when you see a large group of those flyer forms, you're definitely going to want to micro away from them. Just make sure that you still have your banshees pointed towards them. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a tall task. So, like when you have only a few of them, easy, take them out like that. There we go. So there's 4 phases of defeating the gravemind. You only have to take it out. You only take it out in like after you do each one of these things 4 times. I'm gonna toss down Rain of Fire. This is how I initially start out by fighting the gravemind. I like to toss down what is it called? Rain of Fire on top of it. It does a lot of damage in a short amount of time, which is exactly what we want. So once you knock it down to about 80% health, you're going to move on. All the tentacles will basically get destroyed, and then you'll be able to move on to the next area. So now we can move on to grab the next mega turret. And kind of how it was initially, you just go on through and you do it again. Just make sure that you are careful of any anti-air, and make sure that you clear the area before you build on that turret. Cool part about this mission is that you have a lot of the basically this mission is not necessarily like super it's not supposed to be like super difficult. It's just supposed to be like you choose the right unit and you should be able to move pretty much freely around. They didn't really do a good job countering air units that I noticed in with the flood, so it just makes the most sense to do that in versus the flood. Now that we have that next mega turret, we're just going to defend it just like we did before. Now remember, you get attacked from both angles. You get attacked in almost every way, and this is where we want to save Aatrox's Bulwark, because right here is probably the most dangerous it was for me dealing with the flood. Like I could have lost this mega turret and it would have been really, really sad. But you just have to make sure that you have your units on top of that base, and making sure that you're essentially ready for them. And notice how the engineers are just knocking out like all these Thrasher forms, and you're just praying that their explosion doesn't destroy the base. But there you go. Once we do that, make sure you build any more macro that you need. I recommend building an apex there. That way you have a direct route that is not at your base, because look at that little area. Notice how I have to hop like that between my base and my forces. That's because that chasm between them is not, the camera cannot go through that. So that is why I recommend building an apex there, because it has a lot of range around the map. Now the other side of it is directly east of it is another one, and you want to build an apex there as well. Actually, for the rest of these mega turret slots, I recommend just building an apex everywhere. So there we go, getting our, I think, second to last or the last Rain of Fire upgrade. Now we have a few minutes to breathe, right? Like we're kind of just chilling, spending a little bit of time getting everything ready. We also had reinforcements upgrade as well, so now we have more forces. As I said, you want to have pretty much either reinforcements level 2 ready pretty much by the 20-minute marker, or even a little bit, like I would say 20 to 22 is pretty much fine. It's just a really, really rough road without all your forces, because they start to get a little bit. It just gets more difficult without them. Like, again, there's too many enemies to fight, and you just need to make sure that you have a lot of forces to basically counter them. Anyway, this is that first attack. If you see on the bottom right, that is where my base is at, and essentially the attack is exactly like that every single time they attack your base. You're going to get infection forms from the north. You're going to get flyer forms from the east, and you're going to get thrasher forms from the west. It's always going to be like that. There's no change in it. Just make sure that you are ready to handle it. That is why we set Pavium and Voridus where we set them. If you have any other forces besides the hunters, keep them up front fighting the enemies from the north. Otherwise, you're just going to have to deal with this. Otherwise, you're kind of going to be in a. Otherwise, just kind of do the same thing that we've been doing at that base. Now, as I said, you're just going to be doing this multiple times, exactly as we've been doing it. So just like the first time we fought the Gravemind, you're going to be doing that exact same thing again. Just see how they just get distracted. They don't even want to fire on the main objective. But you're just going to target down the Gravemind, and you just do this 2 more times. And there's reinforcements level 2. Keeping our base up and running down there. That mega turret's gonna probably be safe after that attack. Just want to make sure that we are able to fight this to damage the Gravemind now. Got a few flyer forms, trying to make sure that we counter them. Alright, now that the Gravemind is ready to go, you can toss down your Rain of Fire. Notice how it is really effective against the Gravemind. If your Rain of Fire is not doing any damage to the Gravemind, or you just place it in a wrong spot, like I almost thought I did there, your Banshees are really good at fighting against the Gravemind, so they're going to be also really effective. Just make sure that you are ready for, just make sure that they just like get spammed, like continuously make sure that you want them to be there. Now, the issue about your main base is that if you do not have Pavium and Voridus at your main base ready to help out, you're going to be dealing with a lot of downed heroes. You want to make sure that Pavium or Voridus always stay alive, because if you don't, it's going to be a little while before you come back to defend your base. Now, another one of the mega turret sites is up here. Gonna make sure Voridus and Pavium are ready. Pavium can get back over to the other side. You could theoretically keep them all together if you really, really wanted to, but I would recommend keep them separate just in case, because otherwise you're just gonna get overwhelmed by the flood. All right, here's the other mega turret site right here. Just keeping an eye out on my forces coming out of that apex. Anything else needed here? Looks fine. Just getting ready for that next attack that they're going to send at my main base. Now, this mega turret site is going to be the one that gets attacked the most, so you want to make sure that you get everything up and running as fast as possible. Now, you also want to make sure that you upgrade your turrets. This is one of those missions where defense is just as good as offense, or just as important as offense. So, again, as I said, you're getting attacked by all angles for that mega turret. Gonna get our anti-air turrets here. Definitely gonna need to get anti-air. I mistakenly chose anti-infantry, thinking that the Thrasher forms were vehicles, but I would recommend using anti-infantry versus Thrasher forms rather than just normal anti-vehicle. Alright. A little over halfway done now with fighting the Gravemind. We just need to make sure that Our forces are ready. I did not want a foundry. I wanted an apex. There we go. Now, you don't want to leave any of your mega turrets defenseless. Make sure that you have built your turrets before you have basically before you move on. Pavium needs to come back. Gonna toss down Rain of Fire right there. Gonna use the infusion right there and try to run away. Hope that those turrets do some damage. That Aatrox's bulwark, I think both of them are gonna fall right here. I kind of think, yeah, there's no way. It's gonna be really, really close. Maybe Pavium will survive. Wow, surprisingly he survived. That's unbelievable. Now, part of me wishes that I left like maybe one or two in, yeah, maybe 2 engineers at the main base, just in case Pavium and Vortis get attacked or get severely injured. Not to mention, it would have been nice to have at least some other unit there, just in case both of them go down. But overall, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you are ready to defend. Ready to come back just in case you need to revive them. But that's 2 attacks now, and Pavium and Vortis have not both gone down yet, so cross fingers. Alright, now we're ready to take out the Flood here. And the third of 4 times that we have to fight this Gravemind's sides. So 24 to 14 engineer. So as I said, a little bit about 2 to 1. I would even say like 1.5 to 1 ratio for Banshee to engineer. Just make sure that you have enough Banshees. There needs to be a lot of DPS. Okay, now we can get that Lich. This is the point in time where you definitely want to have that Lich ready. So here's where I'm going to place it. You can toss it down. Essentially where you want to toss it down is anywhere that you can guarantee there's going to be a lot of flood. I always end up going back to where my third mega turret, so the one always to the north, I always drop it there because there's a lot of flood going through that way. Gonna definitely try to defend this mega turret because there's a lot of enemies coming out through here. Gonna need another engineer because I lost one. Lich has already done 5 of the enemies, so we're chilling right now. Just need to toss a. That was not a good placement of the Rain of Fire. Definitely gonna need to. I think I should be able to do enough damage to it. There we go. So the third time now. Now we have to do this one more time with one more mega turret. After that, I think we're pretty much good. We get a Reclaimer Sentinel in a few, so that's gonna kind of wrap this mission up. But as you see here, air is kind of the answer to everything so long as they're upgraded and you have a ton of them. We have so many engineers that it's kind of keeping my Banshees afloat, so that's the good news. Base is getting attacked one more time. Always make sure that you have your forces ready to come back to your base if need be, because there could be a time where you need to send all your forces back to your base to repel an attack. Not every single time that you have to do that, but it could happen. Just make sure that you're aware. And always make sure that you are keeping an eye on your mega turrets because they will probably need to be defended as well. Gonna toss down Aatrox's bulwark on top of both Pavium and Vortis. They both really need to kind of go over here to the left. Going back to what these to what the air is doing. Almost done with getting all the mega turrets. It's kind of fun going up. Like, I initially did this with vehicles, and those Thrasher forms just made life really, really bad. Air is definitely the answer to me, so hurry up, Vortis. We need to run. Too much going on down here. keeping an eye out on any of the other bases. Once that's done, we can go and try to defend the one of these mega turrets. I think our forces are going to get there before anything bad happens to this. That turret should have been able to actually defend that without any issues. Now this is the worst the bases look like after an attack, but notice still only lost 2 harvesters. Vortis and Pavium are still alive, so there's that. Just need to make sure that we keep our mega turrets alive. And that's actually why we slowed down quite a bit. That's why I slowed down quite a bit. I was continuously trying to make sure that I didn't lose a mega turret throughout this entire mission. Because one of my other runs, I did it faster, but I lost one of my mega turrets. I ended up with a better score in this one, so I'm running with this one. So, and honestly, like, I haven't really lost too many units. I'm not doing too poorly in terms of like my combat score. But I am going to change this to an anti-infantry, that to an anti-infantry. See if there's any more turrets that need a bonus. Probably should take stasis, but yeah, I'm gonna take stasis. Like, see how many of the, like, they can't even do anything because my forces are kind of just, there's too much going on, and like they can't handle going from all angles like this. There's just too many engineers healing one Banshee. Like, look at that. That one, there's like 8 engineers healing that Banshee. But with the final slot, so 2-slot mini base right there, just defend against this attack, and then we're pretty much ready to end the mission with the Retriever Sentinel. Thinking about tossing down Atriox's Bulwark, but we'll hold out. Some Sentinels here to save the day. Glad I didn't use Atriox's Bulwark earlier. Right there was perfect. That invincibility is going to be really nice. But now that we have all of our mega turrets, just need to defend just a little bit longer. Get our turrets up and running. And then once we have all the mega turrets, like, again, just do it one more time where we go up against the Gravemind, defend it. Power Extractor, why not? Just need to fight back against the Gravemind one more time, and then that's it. Contemplating tossing down the Lich Vanguard. Yeah, I'm not sure where to toss this down yet, but probably should do it later. Like right now. There we go. Cool. So once we are at this point, there's only one more side that you need to damage, right? But it's still not over yet, because you just need to essentially you still need to get through, and then the Retriever Sentinel, you need to grab that as well. So just making sure that that base is done, letting the Lich Vanguard get to 30 out of 30. Now once we do that, there is going to be a Flood super unit that comes on by. Just make sure you have your forces ready for it. This is why we have all of our engineers there. Because notice what it's doing to that Lich. It is actually doing significant damage to it. And we want to make sure that we keep that for sustained DPS not on the Gravemind, but against other enemies that are nearby. So we want to make sure that we take out the super unit. With our Banshees, the Lich will take out the spawner pretty successfully. There we go. Only lost 1 Banshee against that super unit. Now we can actually attack the Gravemind. So let's actually, hopefully, no. See what they do? They don't listen. They only want to attack Flood Infection Forms for some reason. Getting Stasis level 2. Thankfully, my base successfully defends, but Pavium and Vortis always end up either dying, so unfortunate that I saw that both of them died, but could be worse. could be failing the mission. But here we are, almost about to complete it. Spamming X to try to make sure they don't get all, to make sure they don't lose attention on the Gravemind. Almost there. Hoping we're gonna get this done before before the mega turrets get, or that northern mega turret specifically gets destroyed. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to head over to get another Banshee, but we just need the Retriever Sentinel. Okay. Looking for any more. So, the Retriever Sentinel is where we got the second, basically our second mega turret. So, we're going to start heading all the way over there. You see kind of those locks. That's where you're going to get your Retriever Sentinel. And then the best part about it is that you get to actually play with the Retriever Sentinel. You get to use that as part of your army. Free supply cap. Just make sure it doesn't get destroyed. So you're going to send your entire army to fight against the Gravemind. A little scary seeing that anti-air against. Oh, once they see all these banshees that spawner, like, see how quick its HP gets erased. That's such a W. Anyways, once we take out this lock, guess what we get? We get a cool looking Retriever Sentinel. See, it's right there. And now that we have this Retriever Sentinel, we're gonna send all of our forces over to the Gravemind. And it can be anywhere, by the way. You can send it in any way, shape, or form. Little worried that I might not be able to handle this attack. So rain of fire there, stasis there. Accidentally tossed stasis on my turret. The goal was to keep the turret alive, but it should be fine. Again, all we need to do is keep the Retriever Sentinel alive, let it do damage against the Gravemind, and that's it. Checking up on the base. Might need to toss down the Lich if we can get that early enough. Or I might have to just keep the Retriever Sentinel here, and then everything else is going to go and defend. Come on, Retriever. I need you to actually target the Gravemind. Come on. Look at it go. So, you can send everything you can to fight against the Gravemind, but unfortunately, see how this base is getting attacked. We don't want to lose it, so had to send everything to defend it. But you can also now use your Lich, so feel free, toss it down anywhere. That's probably what we're going to do in a moment. Yeah, probably to defend that, so. Dude, see what? Even the Retriever Sentinel doesn't want to listen. Toss down the Lich Vanguard. Alright, all units are going to now go and fight against the Gravemind. Except for Pavium and Vortis, who are just going to chill out at base, make sure everything's fine. Another Apex, get all of our harvesters up. The Flood Infection form is just suiciding into a portal is funny. But this is why this mission, by the way, took a little longer, was because, like, I was trying so hard to target this Gravemind, but it just wouldn't happen. I had to make sure I tossed out Rain of Fire on it to make sure, like, I was able to actually damage it significantly. Like, see how its HP is now going down pretty quick? I have to send all my units to make sure that this gravemind actually is taking damage as it should, and spamming non-stop the attack button. For some reason, I wish that I really do wish that the units listen a little bit better, especially like right now. Like, all I want you to do right now is fight against the gravemind, not the infection forms, please. All right. But once you defeat this the gravemind, we're almost there. His health is just on the cusp. And there it is. So once you defeat the gravemind, that is it. That you would have beaten the mission as well as beaten the expansion for Awakening the Nightmare. Before we go into the score screen, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this entire guide. If you came through Halo Wars 2, then went to Operation Spearbreaker, and then to Awaken the Nightmare, I really do appreciate you guys watching. But yeah, going into the total score, this is going to be a gold medal again, completed all the objectives, got all the logs, and then here are all your objectives as well. Once again, guys, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys as well for your continued support. If you guys don't mind, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, share. Please see algorithm robots. Make sure these videos are seen. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time for Halo Infinite. Thank you guys for watching.
Told you not to go inside. For good reason. Secure the breach. Clean up your mess. I will be waiting for you when you are done.